Okay, here we are in Chapter 4, Part 1, and we're going to start with a general overview of physical activity for fitness, health, and athletic performances. Now remember, this is just an overview. And those of you doing, perhaps doing assignment A, this will be helpful. So we're going to look at what is physical activity and fitness, what are some of the benefits of physical activities. And so remember, use your textbook along with the videos. So make notes, highlight, and tag pages of sticky notes in your textbook. It's all a very big help in understanding the material and will assist you in writing your tests. I won't be mentioning this anymore, so I just thought I'd give you fair warning that your textbook is important. So let's get started. Physical activity can be defined as any body movement produced by the skeletal muscles that result in substantial increase over resulting energy expenditures. So essentially, anything that we do that involves movement, muscles moving, this is skeletal muscles that have a substantial increase over resting energy expenditures. So if I'm just on the couch resting, I have very little expenditures aside from my breathing. But if I get up and go running, then I'm using muscles and skeletal muscles along that increase the expenditures of energy in my body above that which is resting. The benefits of regular physical exercise and physical activity have been known for a long time. This isn't something that's brand new and just been discovered. Of course, we know this well and long about humans. Now, physical activity and health. Canada is facing a physical inactivity and obesity crisis that has a major impact on our economy. Just the costs associated with the health risks of type 2 diabetes and cancer and hypertension are huge. This was determined by the Public Health Agency of Canada, responsible for improving health and well-being of Canadians. They advocate 4 goals: funding national health and living programs, collaborating better with all levels of government regarding healthy living initiatives, keeping data and sharing with government partners regarding these healthy living programs, and 4th, encouraging Canadians to increase their physical activity level. Now, all of that has a huge impact on what impact it'll have on the economy of Canadians. This lack of physical activity is being addressed not just to adults, but to children, teens, adults, and older Canadians. For adults aged 18 to 64, the Canadian Physical Activity Guidelines recommend an accumulation of at least 150 minutes of moderate to vigorously intense aerobic physical activity per week. That's not a lot. In bouts of 10 minutes or more. So think about that, 10 minutes or more, 15 times in a week. So if you went out and did 15 minutes of walking and did that 10 times in a week, you've met that minimum requirement. And 15 minutes of walking, I don't mean a saunter, I mean deliberate, purposeful, brisk walking. You don't have to be power walking. It's just not, you're not just meandering about. You're actually putting a focused effort on the activity of walking and raising perhaps your heart rate in that 15 minutes. Now, most of us are able to do perhaps more than that. And so that's just the minimum guidelines to increase physical activity. Individuals are also encouraged to add muscle and bone strengthening activities using major muscle groups at least 2 days a week. You'll see in table 4.1 on page 79 this sort of breakdown. And that's an important feature. I mean, it's not a lot of effort, and it's not that you have to do what you might term as typical active behavior. There's a lot of range of things that we can do to meet those expectations. Canadian Society for Exercise Physiology, the CSEP, also developed new Canadian sedentary behavior guidelines for children 0 to 4 and 5 to 11 and youth 12 to 17 years. Now, research is now being completed by the development of sedentary guidelines for adults for the 18 to 64 and older adults over 65. Research indicates Canadians are not moving enough. So we must, be curious and maybe wonder. So let's look at physical activity and fitness. Physical fitness is the ability to respond to routine physical demands with enough energy reserves to cope with sudden change. Okay, let's look at that. You're a student. You've got classes to be aware of, assignments, tests. You may have family, not just the family that raised you, but you may have your own children. You may have a part-time job. You may have other interests and obligations. And physical fitness then is the ability to respond to all of these demands, as well as the sudden one that might pop up that requires us to move it from, move ahead on the priority list ahead of something else we have been doing routinely. So that's maybe not how you've determined physical fitness in the past. Physical fitness is really just about being able to cope with the challenges. I run a lot in part because my physical fitness enables me to do what I do and keep that up. In order to make these videos, to mark assignments, to deliver my courses, to respond to meetings, to look after my partner, to be available for my children and my grandchildren, well, that requires physical fitness too. And being able to deal with that and the surprise things that pop up. Last semester, the surprise thing that popped up was a strike. It wasn't something everybody planned on, and it wasn't even something anybody was for sure seeing going to happen, but it happened, and we all had stress added to our lives. Our physical fitness enabled us to cope with that either better or worse than if we had no fitness. So you can consider yourself fit, if you meet your daily energy needs and can handle unexpected extra demands and are protecting yourself against potential health problems. Your own student experience, the added family, children responsibilities, job, friends, to have the energy to be able to do all of these and be able to reasonably respond to sudden stressors and remain healthy. See, now that's the key, is to be able to deal with our daily activities and remain healthy. Now there's 5 health-related components to fitness, physical fitness, and we'll look at each one briefly. Okay, first, and we're going to explore this, would be aerobic and cardiovascular endurance. So this is involving the brisk walk, jogging, running, swimming, any activity that increases the amount of blood being pumped by your heart throughout one's body efficiently to enable the person to sustain the activity. Okay, so cardiovascular endurance is the ability to be active, raise your heart rate, push the blood through your system, and be able to do so for more than a minute, being able to do so efficiently to enable us to participate in some activity. Now this is often, at least research-wise, being measured by what's called the VO2 max test, looking at that efficiency of our system. Now most of us haven't done a VO2 max test, but most of us have gone upstairs and been out of breath at some point in our lives, and that's an indication of not having good cardiovascular endurance. If we're able to go about our everyday activity and not be out of breath and not raise our heart rate too extraordinarily, then that's a good indicator of better fitness. Okay, so cardiovascular endurance is one, or aerobic exercise. Muscular strength. This refers to the forces within the muscles that is measured by maximum weight one can push, press, or lift. Anytime you've been at a gym that involves a bench press or curling weights or pushing weights, that's muscular strength. Muscular endurance, that's one's ability to perform repeated muscular effort that is measured by how many times one can push, press, or lift an item. So you can lift, 20 kilograms, but can you do it 20 times? There's a difference between muscular strength, being able to lift it, and being able to do it 20 times is muscular endurance. Flexibility. This is your range of motion around specific joints, whether that's, shoulders, hips, knees, that's your range of motion. Flexibility is affected by age, sex, posture, how muscular you are, and the level of body fat that you have all impact our ability to be flexible. And lastly, we'll look at body composition, which refers to the amount of fat or lean tissue on our bodies. Now, the higher one's body fat percentage is, the higher our health risks are. And that shouldn't be surprising, but it is something certainly that we can work towards reducing and improving our body composition. So now let's look just briefly, and because I don't imagine this is not a course that's going to help physical activity and athletic performance for everybody. Many activities demand a special type of athletic performance that includes skill-related fitness such as ability, balance, coordination, or power. And these are the added features to performance-based. Now, like I said, this course isn't going to be focused on doing that for anybody, and you'll find more of the detail about agility, balance, coordination, and power in your textbook. The health benefits of physical activity. Let's explore those. Exercise is medicine. Now, this is from Exercise is Medicine Canada. It's a trademarked statement. Healthcare providers access and review their patients' physical activity programs as part of a regular physical examination. And that's what exercise is medicine means. It's this incorporating in medical health reviews our physical fitness. Health benefits of physical activities include better bones. That's a huge, big one as you're getting older. Weak and brittle bones are common among people who don't exercise. Osteoporosis is a condition in which bones lose their mineral density and become increasingly soft and susceptible to injury. It affects a great many older people, especially women. It's one of the areas in which Health Canada has been pushing older people to engage in more physical activity, including pushing weights to build bone density. 2, better mental health and functioning is one of the benefits. Exercise is an effective but underused treatment for mild to moderate depression, and it may help in treating other mental disorders. Exercise eases certain symptoms such as agitation and hallucinations in schizophrenic patients. Lifelong fitness may be protecting the brain as we age. It's one of the things I'm banking on because I spend a lot of time exercising and running, and a part of that is I want to live a long, healthy life. 3, brighter mood, less stress. Exercise boosts mood, increases energy, improves concentration and alertness, and enables people to handle stress better. Mood-elevating brain chemicals called endorphins are released during exercise. It's part of what, if you've heard the term before, running high. It doesn't mean getting high and going running. It means running and then having these endorphins released gives you a sense of flow. This running without effort and being encompassed in the activity without thinking of how tired am I? We can also look at exercise as enhancing immunity. Moderate exercise may enhance immune function by reducing stress hormones like cortisol that can dampen resistance to disease. When we're under stress, the body releases cortisol to deal with that stress, but it's not good for our body to have cortisol released that frequently. Healthier hearts and lungs. Sedentary people are about twice as likely to die of a heart attack as people who are physically active. Regular physical activity can reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. As the lungs become more efficient, they take in more oxygen, and their vital capacity, ability to take in and expel air, is increased, providing more energy for use. So the more of that exchange that we exercise our lungs and our heart, the more they become efficiently able to manage that level of stress and take more. Longer and more active life. Inactivity increases all causes of mortality, doubles the risk of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, obesity, and increased risk for colon cancer, high blood pressure, osteoporosis, depression, and anxiety. Wow. Exercise also helps older people retain strength and mobility needed to live lives more independently. Another reason, another benefit, lowers the risk of cancer. Physical activity lowers the likelihood of getting some forms of cancer and may lessen the risk of reoccurrence or risk of a second cancer. Exercise is advocated as a part of a treatment protocol because of the low cost intervention that has the potential to improve health and well-being of many individuals dealing with cancer. A really huge component, and it's a manageable one, is lowering the risk of type 2 diabetes. Now, type 2 diabetes has the acronym or the associated term as a lifestyle disease. Type 2 diabetes can be prevented or at least delayed through lifestyle choices such as participating in regular physical activity, choosing a healthy diet, and weight management. Exercise is very important in the prevention of and control of insulin resistance, pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetes, and must be done on a regular basis to be realized. And that's important because these are things that we can do something about. It's kind of like cholesterol. You can go in and have your blood tested to see what your cholesterol level is like. And one of the things you can do is change your diet to change your cholesterol. You can also exercise more to change your cholesterol. When I went in a number of years ago, I had high cholesterol, and they said, so I'm going to change your diet, and I did, and I made some changes. But I also went and started to increase my running and got back engaged in running, and that also decreased my cholesterol by producing healthy cholesterol. So exercise has some positive preventative activities. It also lowers our weight. In combination with healthy eating, physical activity can help people lower their weight. As the body responds to the increased demand from your muscles for nutrients, your metabolic rates increase. The body burns more calories and the body fat decreases. This surge persists after exercise, so you can continue to burn calories even after you stop working out. It's one of the things that I've relied on, and it's one of the things that helps manage my weight. I don't try to get too small. Too small is not any more healthy for me than being too big. And so it's really important to look at the full benefits of fitness and activities. So I hope this has been helpful for the part one. We're going to get started with part two and look at a little more specific about fitness. All right, let's carry on.